This is Popular Front, a podcast focused on the niche details of modern warfare and underreported conflict with me, Jake Hanrahan. Today we're speaking to a local journalist in northeast Syria in Qamishlo in Rojava. His name is Baderkhan Ahmad. He has been covering the recent clashes between NDF pro-Assad militiamen and the Kurdish SDF internal security forces known as the Asayis. Basically, this NDF militia and the Asayis have been fighting each other. It's gotten quite serious. Baderkhan is going to explain it all for us. If you like what we're doing, please do consider supporting us at patreon.com/popularfront. So you're in Qamishlo right now, yeah?
Yeah, right. I'm in Qamishlo.
Okay. So there've been clashes between what are they, like Assad regime militia, right? The NDF, and then the Asayis. Maybe just explain to us what has actually been going on. What triggered all this?
Well, let's to talk about who controls Qamishlo. It's Asayis, the internal security forces, which belong to the self-administration in northeastern Syria. And to talk about Qamishlo as a city, of course, it's under their control, but the Syrian regime has some two headquarters inside the city, and also they control the airport, the Qamishlo airport. But there is a neighborhood called Altay neighborhood, which was under the control of the national defense. The national defense. It belongs to someone called Muhammad Faris. He's from Altay tribe. It's an Arab tribe, and they started with this force or with this group since the beginning of the Syrian events. It was like a kind of support to the Syrian regime at that time, when they were when the Free Syria Army pushing them and taking places from them. So they started with this group to be like a supporter for the Syrian regime, and they will till now controlling Altay neighborhood. And Altay neighborhood was like a place where problems came from. If someone did a problem or did a murder or even steal somewhere, they just go there because it's like a militia, You can do whatever you want, just you have to pay. And also it becomes like a center for ISIS to do some terrorist attacks inside Qamishlo, like bombs, like car bombs, suiciding themselves. So it was like a good atmosphere for these groups or someone who wants to do problem in the region, and usually problems were happening between these groups and Asayis on the checkpoints, for example, when they are asking for documents or when they are asking to give their ID, or if someone is wanted, so they take him. So then the problems come, and that was on Wednesday at night when the internal security forces stopped one of them, and they realized that person has done some previous things before, and they wanted to take him and to check his file more. But then his friends came to the internal security forces and asked the Asayis to release him, but they refused because and they said, we will release him when we check about him. And then they killed, they attacked the Asayis checkpoint, and they killed a leader among them.
You mean the Assad guys, right? The NDF, they attacked the Asayis checkpoint. Yes. You mean, yeah? Got you.
And because that person, the one who got killed in Asayis, he was important, and especially among his friends, and as a position too, he was the responsible for the checkpoints in the region, you see. And then his France and the Asayis started to attack them too, and they took like they managed to control like around 500 meters inside the neighborhood in the first hours. But then, yeah, I mean, the clash has been continuing. The national defense started to bring more guys to support them, and also the Asayis did the same. And this clash was continuing for 3 and 4 days. And during this time, the Russian army, because they have a base in Qamishlo airport in regime territory, they were trying to negotiate between these two sides, but the Asayis, they were having like a clear decision, which is take the control of all the neighborhood, which is one of the neighborhoods in Qamishlo, and also especially to take the control of the main street, which is like which links the two parts of Qamishlo to each other. So now it's like all the neighborhoods or all the city is under the control of the internal security, except like two small headquarters, which is under the control of the Syrian army, like not the national defense, because the national defense they have nothing to follow. Like they do whatever they want. They steal. They kill people. They have no rules. Not like the Syrian army.
Right. Did the Syrian army get involved at all? Because the clashes got really quite heavy at one point. Was it just the NDF militia, or did the regime forces? I've been to Qamishlo. They're kind of around. You know what I mean? They're everywhere in their areas. Did they engage at all?
Well, no, because they have, as I mentioned, they have two headquarters in Qamishlo, and they never attacked the internal security forces from their places, like the Free Syria, the Syrian army or the Syrian regime. But somehow we have heard, like we've got some news that they were supporting them in indirectly way, like for example, giving them some weapons, opening ways, roads for them, something like this. Of course, they don't want to lose this militia, but because they were in a hard position like this, because somehow the Russian army hates them. We've got news that some Iranian from Hezbollah were fighting with them, especially.
I've heard this. Well, yeah.
Yeah, we've heard this from the fighters on the ground, because they told us how professional they fight, especially the snipers. Because this militia, they're like mercenaries. They have no experience. They have no reasons to fight. But the Iranians, they have experience, and they have reasons also to fight. Also, they realize that they have like a big beard, the long beard, and the look. They were really close to Iranian fighters and Hezbollah. And we previously have seen some logos and some like pictures in Qamishlo, which leads to those fighters. And also in the when the internal security forces started to clean the neighborhood, they have seen some pictures of Nasrallah, and Bashar together. So that's why the Russian wants to also to clean the neighborhood from these groups, and that's why also the Syrian regime, they were not able to help them that much. So the decision was clear from the internal security to take the control, and now it's under their control, and now they're trying to help the neighborhood in services, in electricity, and also other things. And but also there will be a small point for the Syrian army, the Syrian regime inside the neighborhood.
A friend of mine, also in Rojava, was basically saying that kind of what you're saying like, they think that Russia was quite happy for this to happen because, it got rid of some of these NDF fighters. Do you think that's true, that they've kind of just been like, yeah, let this happen, let them get killed?
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly, but I think, the Russian, of course, as a strategy for the Russian army, they want to give all the area to the Syrian army or to the Syrian regime. That's clear, like as a decision from them, and they're trying this always. But this is not gonna succeed or happen because there is American bases in the region, and also the SDF and the internal security forces. They don't allow for the Russian and for the regime to take control to any other places. But as the national defense, which is like a militia, could be they are happy for what happened inside the neighborhood.
Yeah. You were there. You were covering this on the front lines. I saw some of your footage online. And it looked like, it was way more serious than previous clashes because, as we know, there have been clashes between Asayis and the NDF before. I think last year and the year before that, there was some clashing, but this one seemed a lot more serious. How well do you think the Asayis handled this? This is like one of the first times they've been really tested out like that in an open combat situation for several days in Qamishlo. How do you think they did? Do you think their training's working?
Yeah, they were really fighting very well. The Asayis, and also because they have good equipments, like armored vehicles, and weapons and ammunition, and also, of course, they have been in situations like this before. Like many Asayis fighters, they were before fighting against ISIS, and against Free Syria Army also at some point on some places, and even against the Turkish invasion. So they have been in many previous experience, and to fight against the national defense, it was not really hard for them. But because of the support of the Iranian, it was hard, especially in snipers. Because in this fight they lost only 3 of them. As fighters, but to talk about the national defense, they have lost dozens of them, and even I've seen some of them in a far place. They just got killed and they were in the streets. And it was a serious fight. It was taking more than it takes 4 days or even more. There was a kind of this fight before 5 years between Asayis and the Syrian regime. That was also hard because the Syrian regime was using artilleries against the city, and the fight was in everywhere. That's why it was hard at that time. It was in 2016, and even it was at the same date, like April 25 to April 2016, and it happens again now 2021 in April. But it was only in Altay neighborhood, not in all of the city. It was in Altay neighborhood and also another small neighborhood close to the airport. Also, they were controlling some places there, like the national defense. So they controlled all the city and they took everywhere from them.
Right. And for anyone that doesn't know, I know we've kind of mentioned it, but briefly just explain to us what is the actual role of the Asayis in Rojava. Just explain, who are they, what they do.
Yeah, they are controlling the cities. Their mission is to protect the cities, as we call them, like the internal security, to secure inside the cities, not the borders. All the checkpoints, it's from them. The checkpoints between the cities, between the like the governorates and the cities. It's all it's all from them, and also, as I mentioned, the security inside the cities, it's also them. But well, yes, on the borders, with Iraq, and also in the Eurozone, of course, that's SDF.
Right, that's the more like military side of it, right?
Yeah, military side. Assad is
And
like the police.
yeah, exactly. Right, right. And what's happened now? I understand that there was a ceasefire, and then the same day I saw that the NDF just started firing again, and then there was another ceasefire. What's the situation right now?
Now it's the end. They made an agreement between internal security and Russian and Assad. The agreement, which is, of course, now it's under the control of the internal security. There will be only 1 point for the Syrian army and the Syrian regime inside the neighborhood, and that's it.
So basically, the Asayis and the SDF have managed to take land from the regime side, right?
Yeah.
How much?
Well, it was like I will just tell like a percent. It was like let's say could be 10% or 15%. Yeah, I mean 10% or 15% of Qamishlo was that was under their control, and now it's under the control of the internal security. Yeah, I mean Altai neighborhood also is a big neighborhood. I've been there.
Yeah, I saw some footage where there were like Kurds returning to their homes in those areas that they'd taken from the NDF. What was that about?
Yeah, I mean now like most of them, I mean could be all of them return to their houses. There are some damage, but not really big damage because there was no bombing or mortars. I mean damage like some fires in some shops and damage in the electricity, and bullets in windows, in streets. Yeah, I mean they have used RBJ sometimes, but that's like small damage in some walls or some houses. And now the safe administration, because now it's their duty to rule this neighborhood. Now they are starting to clean the streets, to fix the electricity, and also today they gave like gas for free to people. I mean gas, which is what you need to cook, and yeah.
So people are kind of going back to normal already. Do you think that this could spark more clashes though? Like the regime, even though it is only like 10% or whatever, or 15%, that's even more of the city that they've lost, and they don't even control half of it now. Do you think that they might try and attack again, or do you think this is maybe just a kind of flash in the pan situation?
No, I mean, they have really no power to do any attacks or to do anything. And of course, this last events was not good for them, And now because they are trying to show to the people we are good, we are doing election, and this clashes was really bad for them, like losing areas. People do not like them anymore. I have even, because there's like a point for the Syrian regime inside the neighborhood. I've even talked to some of their soldiers. They were really in a bad situation. They were saying that our salary is not enough. We want to just leave, but we cannot because we have our families like living in the Syrian regime territory. And yeah, like some soldiers were saying that we are serving since 7 years, and others said since 6 years. Usually you serve for 1 year, and then you for 1 year or 2 years, then you are free. But they just keep them because of the wars, And like as an economy situation, I mean, regime is in a bad situation, and they have no power to do any attacks or anything. The Russian they are trying their best to help them, but they cannot.
Okay, mate. Well, I'm glad that things are kind of quieting down now. Is there anything else you want to say about this that you think people should know?
I just want also to mention that, always like the Russian army, they're trying to show to the people that they're good. Like yesterday, they were in Altai neighborhood. They were like trying to serve some medical support to the people, but when they are doing this, they are bringing like Syrian regime flags and Russian flags and showing it to the people, and like kind of propaganda.
Yeah.
And they are doing this like in also other places. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that.
Most welcome.
Have a good day, man. That was local journalist Baderkhan Ahmad speaking about the clashes between the Asayis and the NDF pro-regime militia inside Qamishlo. It's got two names. You can follow Baderkhan on Instagram at Baderkhan_Ahmad. That is BADERKAN_AHMAD. He's a really good lad. Check him out. If you want more Popular Front, please do consider supporting us at patreon.com/Popular Front. There are bonus episodes, access to the community Discord, narrated articles, discount codes for merch, all sorts there. Also, I've got a book out right now. It's a collection of some of my reporting, some of my written work over the years. It is called Gargoyle, and the subtitle is Reporting from Front Lines, Jail Cells and Trap Houses. Check it out. You can get a copy on Amazon. I know, fuck Amazon, but there's a long situation with the copyright, so I had to go through this way. You can buy the book, find links at gargoylebook.com. If you like Popular Front, you will not be disappointed, I don't think, anyway. Gargoylebook.com. Thank you to our sponsors. This episode was sponsored by Oracle Coffee Shop in Portland, Oregon, USA. They're an independent coffee business selling only fair trade products. See them at 3875 Southwest Bond Avenue, 97239. Tell them that Popular Front sent you. The episode was also sponsored by Grindcore House, a pair of independent coffee shops in Philadelphia, USA. They got one in South, one in West. Find them on socials at Grindcore House. The episode was also sponsored by Propagandopolis, an outlet selling and writing about historical conflict propaganda from around the world. Buy prints at propagandopolis.com. Use promo code POPULARFRONT10 for 10% off. If you want to advertise with us, bear in mind you have to be independent and not some fucking corporate madman. But if you do want to advertise, and we think the what you're doing is kind of goes with the ethos of what Popular Front is doing, we can talk. If you want to do that, email me at hanrahan@protonmail.com, hanrahan@protonmail.com. Music in this episode, the intro was by Home and the outro was by Sam Black. Check his music out at samblackpf.com. Also, the audio mix was done by Splicing Block. Check out Splicing Block podcast audio online. They're a very good bunch of people. Check them out. Thank you very much to our higher tier Patreons for making all of this possible. They are Lapita Valens, Bradley Davies, Laura RX, A. Nickel, Manny, Travis Lieberman, Sky Alexander, Cherry, Ben Marshall, Dallas Dunn, LD50 Seattle, MJ, K Glitter Vulcan, Meredith Waters, Bethany Swarvland, C. O'Donnell, Adam H, Larson 8669, Karanti, Bjorn Kirsten, Diamond Steen, Jacob, Michael O'Connor, Taylor Kidd, Zach Packard, Todd Cravens, Alexander, Nicholas Butter, Ron Swanson, JD, Jav, Ian Froese, James Cully, Michael Akakan, Ethan Fitzmadrid, Ed Coulthard, Johnny LaFleur, Clayton Taylor, Helen DeGenerate, Mike Barone, Ben Crock, Liam Williams, Chris Cusimano, Degenerate Zero Alpha, Jojo Arani, DR, Trey Nance, Amy R, Rubicon, Frank Austin, Amelia Me, Nawaiz, Christina Rivetti, Freya Northman, Ali Hunter, Moody Al Rashid, Bill Wilson, Andrew Hurley, Vida Provost, Brian McLaughlin, Tom Lochrin, Young Wasabi, Tony Bin, Adam Bergsnyder, JL, Sebastian, Stephen Davila, Anthony Kabarak, Dan Dunham, Fletcher Tate, Chad Walker, Diana Gorvanek, Lawrence Abrahams, Peter McCormick from What Bitcoin Did, Emily Molly, Axel Iverson, Christopher Martin, Ryan Sandercock, and Moritz Zumbal. Thank you all very much, man. I remember when there was like 3 or 4 people to read out. Now there's so many. Thank you so much. You lot are keeping this going. As I always say, the more money we get on the Patreon, the more Popular Front you're going to see. I know this month has been a little bit slow, you know. My granddad, God rest his soul, he passed away. Anybody who knows me knows that my granddad was, you know, a father to me. He's the man that raised me, essentially. So, you know, that was a big hit. But thank you very much to the community. A lot of people were very kind and understood that, you know, there won't be as much content put out this month. But anyway, now we're going to hit the ground running again. So yeah, thank you all very much. Please do consider supporting patreon.com/popularfront.